In my video I try out the UK's first autonomous buses running on the AB1 service from Ferryport Park and Ride in Fife by North Queensferry to Edinburgh Park rail station and connecting tram services to Edinburgh and Ingliston Park and Ride. The buses are run by Stagecoach. The buses used are Alexander Dennis Enviro 200 MMCs with the autonomous controls fitted within the chassis out of sight. There is still a bus driver and an additional staff member, another bus driver, on board. I did however wonder why the buses were regular diesels and not electric. It was because the electric project was behind, so diesels were used instead. They are developing an electric version to be added to their fleet. In my video I take footage of journeys I made on these buses. I hope you find my video interesting, and thanks for selecting. Hello all, I'm trying something different today. I'm trying out the Scotland's first autonomous buses, driverless buses. They set off from the Park and Ride, Ferryport Park and Ride is where I am at the moment. It's free parking, so it's parked there. It's free parking. You get the, I'm not sure what the fare is because you get the bus, the electric, the autonomous bus. It's an Enviro 200 MMC, so you get that from here to Edinburgh Park. I've never been on it before, so I'm going to go out to try it out. It's driverless buses, so. But there are two members of staff on it. There's a driver apparently, from what I've heard there's a driver and there's another, like an engineer or something, I'm not sure. But I'm going to give it a shot anyway. From Ferryport Park and Ride, which is on the Fife side of the River Forth, and it's going across the River Forth over the Forth Road Bridge and to Edinburgh Park. There's two Forth Road bridges, so there's three. There's two Forth Road bridges. We've got the original and a new one, Queen's Ferry Pass. We've also obviously got the Forth Rail Bridge, which is iconic design. So I better get myself there because I'm not sure, I think it's due in shortly. So I'll try and get footage on it and show you what it's like. It's an Enviro 200 standard bus with the autonomous controls. I don't know what it's going to be like. I'm going to give it a shot. Just a short idea of what the Ferryport looks like. There's a big car park there. It's free parking apparently. I'm not sure what the bus fare is, but I'll find out soon enough. We're just going to UK's first autonomous. So it's over there I believe I'll be heading for. Turn this back around. So I better get myself over there first. So yeah, so that was it. So it'll be quite interesting to try this out. Check the trackers, the bustime.org is supposed to be one on. I think it's every half hour or something. It takes 15 minutes to get to, according to the timetable, so. It's Enviro 200, Alexander Dennis Enviro 200. I think it's diesel, I presume it will be diesel, but it's just got the autonomous controls. So. It's the 23rd of May today, so I don't see that there's a problem. If they're running, should be running. It's a timetable there, so it's just going on 3 o'clock. So I got here just before, well, with 5 minutes before 3, so. That's the rail bridge, the Forth Rail Bridge, part of it anyway. So I'm a bus driver myself. I drive buses in Dundee, with Explore Dundee, and it's going to be really odd. I mean, I've been a bus spotter since I was a kid, since 1986. I was only an 11-year-old, and I've never in my whole life been on a bus that's been driven by no driver. But I believe, from what I've heard, there's meant to be like the driver that sits there just as a backup in case anything happens, and an engineer or something, I'm not sure. But I'm going to find out what it's like anyway. That's the first time I've ever been on it. But I mean, I'd personally like to be the driver, keep the job, like, you know, autonomous driverless buses, does that take away jobs in the future, you know, things to think about. But how safe is it going to be, I mean, all that kind of stuff, there's loads of questions, but I think that is that it. It shouldn't be long, but just gets here when it gets here. I think there's only the one running. I'll keep you posted once I get into it. I'll see what happens. That's not it, obviously. That's Enviro 300, by the way, it's coming in. But that's got the voice transmission, just a normal bus with the driver in it. But the Enviro 200 is actually the successor to the Enviro 300. And there's a nice view of the train. Oh, there it is. This is going to be odd. It looks like he's driving it. What? That's no right, is it? Ah, you're joking. No, I don't think it's running. I think it's just normal driver. Yeah, pretty sure of it. I'll find out. Transmission. Well, there is actually 2 members of staff on it. I can see that from here, but I'm going to find out anyway what it's like. I'm going to board it. I'll better get the ferry. A bus spotter. I'm going to get some photos of it, as I always do. So this is just like your normal standard Enviro 200. There's a bit of a keep them waiting because I'll end up pulling off without me if I don't get on it. But there's cameras there all over it. You can see they've got all this. Unless that's just warning or something, I'm not sure what. There's cameras there. Cameras up there as well. So this is the controls. It just looks normal. I checked with them first. It's okay to film this from my YouTube, but it just looks like the normal. Actually, I drive the buses and it just that's what the dashboard looks like on an Enviro 200. Yeah, 200. So it must be like motors and controls and that in there. This computer thing. That's what does all the. That's what does the driving, the thinking, basically. It's quite impressive, like. So it's certainly different. Oh yeah, to get the view of the.
That one or the one further up.
Aye. So it's the same sort of standard Stagecoach interior. So the engineer was explaining to me that the driver has been driven. The driver drives it across the bridge from Ferryport, and then once it gets across the bridge and on the motorway, it goes into full autonomous. Autonomous doesn't overtake it, but if there's something in front, it starts to slow down. It's just sort of been programmed as if the more it's been used, driven, it's learning basically the route. So, this 50 mile an hour, and it's autonomous once we're on the motorway. We're actually advised to wear the seatbelts as well. The engineer was explaining that. But in the moment it's still the driver, and once it gets across here it'll be autonomous. I'll do a couple of trips on here. So that's just the other Queen's Ferry Bridge over there. It makes a beep when it goes into being autonomous as well. Is that autonomous yet? Or?
No,
Not yet.
That's just indicator.
Oh, it's just. So I will do a couple of journeys on, and we'll get some footage as well. Some more footage through on. the driver's still doing the driving at this stage. And sitting at the front so we can get a bit of a view of when it goes into autonomous, but as I say, at this stage it's still the driver. It was said it's going to be the phase 2 is the autonomous computer learning about roundabouts, so it's being driven by the driver. It's learning at the same time all the different the sensors will pick up all the traffic and how it's being driven on the roundabout. It's learning that through the software, I guess. So phase 1 is on the motorway, the straights. Phase 2 is starting to learn round traffic roundabouts, junctions and that. And I still get phase 3 will be when I actually take the bus to Dunfermline bus station, start extending the route all further. So the software will be learning about that while it's being driven. It's learning now, it's being driven manually. And they'll start extending the route out and it'll be done more and more autonomously. It's sort of like in the learning process at the moment. But phase 1's been done. It does actually do the autonomous on the motorway. Just right. Oh, there we go. I hope you just heard that. So that beep there was it just turning into autonomous now. So it's just got a hands off the. You can see that in the mirror. It's driving itself.
It's a natural place for them to be.
Yes,
She needs
yes.
to take control. She just touches the steering of that.
Ah, yes. So she was just saying that she's still got her hands just by the wheel in case there's any, it's just ready. But the computer software does the indicating, it does the lane changes as well. And we'll use all these cameras to, monitor the traffic and that. So this is the phase 1 bit, the motorway driving. So she has got her hands off, just ready to, in case it needs to be. Driving autonomously at this point. This is the first phase of the autonomous bit. So the next phase will be when it goes roundabouts and traffic roundabouts. And the third phase will be actually going into the towns, the Dunfermline bus stations. It's going to be extended out to there. It's at fixed speed, the lorries passing. The autonomous will be keeping it in the lane as it's going round. See it actually, isn't it? The bus is doing the cornering. So that's quite a strange feeling.
The accelerator, she can take that full control.
Oh yes. So yeah, it's just. So it's definitely still in full autonomous mode, but as I say, as you're just ready there, just in case, because it's knowing that the autonomous, if someone pulls in front or cuts in front, the autonomous, I've heard that it could be quite sharp on the brakes, hence why you've got to wear the seatbelt, just in case it goes quite sharp. But hands are off the wheel, just hovering over the wheel. This is all the computer doing the driving now. That speed limit there, 50 mph speed limit. Now the computer's programmed to recognise the overhead signs as the temporary signs, and it adjusts the speed accordingly as well. So it's coming up for a 40. See that? Oh yes, I noticed the brakes really are quite.
It can be quite.
Yeah, it's just, I see what you mean. Yeah. It's just exactly what we mentioned there. The computer noticed it was coming into a 40 zone with the overhead gantry signs, and the autonomous brakes are still in the process of learning to brake, like the way a driver would. So when it does that, kind of, it's like digital. It kind of comes on, not like a seatbelt, but you feel like going like that a little bit until it brings the speed down. So it's just learning to gradually bring the speed down. Like it was more digital. It was like 50, then suddenly 40, and it's braking again because it sees the brake light. That's all of so it's the driver is taking over now. You heard that beep there. At the beep, that was letting us know that it's the driver is driving now. There's a queue of traffic up ahead, and it was handed over to back to the driver. So I felt the brakes quite, coming on. That was the computer just, putting the brakes on. Then the beep came, driver takes over. It's smooth braking again, like the way a driver does. So it's just no, it's fine. So you can see that. Feel, really holding on to the control of the steering wheel now. Be that until the computer sort of gets familiar with traffic jams and stuff like that. There'll be plenty of traffic jams in Edinburgh. That's my experience anyway. I can't believe what I just did there. That last file I was on pause, was it? So I was speaking to a little bit pause video. But what I was saying there, just before I realised, is that the autonomous computer is still in the process of learning about the traffic jams. It could do it, but at this point it's like accelerating, brake, accelerating, brake, accelerating, brake. So the computer's still to master how to do it smoothly. So that's why I handed it over to the driver. I don't know if I said that earlier because it does on pause, did it? But at this point it's still getting to grips with traffic jams on the motorway. So it's the driver is doing it now because it's smooth. The computer's just trying to get to the hang of learning how to. Because it's sort of digital at the moment. It's accelerating and braking, and it comes out autonomous. You get the beep, hands it over to the driver, and the driver does it smoothly until it learns how to do it smoothly. There's still a lot of traffic actually. It's slow moving at the moment. There isn't much going on at the stage, just still in traffic. So there's actually 2 buses that are running in the moment because of the heavy traffic. They sometimes add more of these. I think there's 5 of these autonomous buses in total. There was one that passed there, I couldn't get that on camera, but I'll probably try. I've got a day saver at £11. Does the Stagecoach buses, so I could hop on and try the other ones as well. But the traffic here is horrendous, so we put on the extra buses. And I think the last one from Edinburgh's, I think it's 6 o'clock. It's only 20 to 4. I'll have to check with that. But I'm not really getting too far with the traffic at the moment. Just the beep that just came on there, so it's gone back into where it is, back in autonomous. We've kind of missed that motorway now. The traffic jams here, so autonomous now. So it's driving its computer. Clearly see hands off the wheel. It's going along a slight gradient, a slight rise as well. It's purely done by computer at this stage. So it's in a fully automatic transmission, and the gearbox, it's the actuators that drive the bus. I've been flying fly-by-wire, as it's called, a drive-by-wire. So it's just an electrical wire from the accelerator that controls the fuel pump for the diesel. And the automatic transmission, as usual, will just go through the gears like a normal automatic. It's a void automatic. The brakes, they're like a Cheeto valve. You press the air brakes pedal, it's like a valve that allows more air to be entering the brake chambers to apply the brakes through the S-cabs and on. You've got the actuators on the rear axle. So all that is just the normal stuff. The controls for the brains, the computer does all the monitoring process. The actuators will be electric motor or whatever, steering. There'll be the normal steering box, but there'll be a motor somewhere along the system, the steering system to operate it. There'll be obviously actuators for the module for the fuel. The computer will decide when to actuate the brakes, actuate the accelerator, and use the motor for the turning the steering wheel. It gets all the information from the cameras. Obviously monitor the speed, and it's got, you know, the speed road sensors and all that as well. Sometimes you get the, I was hearing that sometimes the engineers come on with the laptops as well, and they can control the bus with the laptop, just interface with the computer. So we're still in autonomous mode. It's in the bus lane as well. Quite a surreal feeling. I feel quite like safe. To be honest, I wouldn't know, but I wasn't told. I wouldn't know the difference at this point. So it's just more an aware that it's autonomous. It's a surreal, sort of unbelievable feeling. It doesn't really feel any different to. It's just sitting on the bus with a seatbelt on. So the only thing that's different because normally in a bus you're wearing a seatbelt. Coaches, but it's just sort of doesn't feel much different, to be honest. You know. There's nothing really, doesn't feel any different. It's just going along about 40, 50 along the motorway. And if it wasn't for the fact that I know that it's autonomous, I wouldn't really think much of it. I feel quite comfortable. So it doesn't feel any different. But there are obviously things, you know, to be considered. The stage seems to just be driving along. I mean, you know. Certainly a novelty anyway, let's put it like that. It's the first time I've ever been on an autonomous vehicle. So it's a big novelty. I've never in my life been on an autonomous vehicle. So it's a milestone. Oh, it's going to be it. Right. So
you see the difference between her driving?
Yeah, there's a wee sort of.
There's not much.
No.
Just because it starts to break the streets.
Yeah, I felt a wee sort of change here as it bleak, but that'd be
It's just
disengaging.
like with the retarder, that's what you're feeling really.
Oh, it's like
Because it's
the, yeah,
accelerating, so
yeah.
it's retarding.
Right on the charging. So it's back into bus driver mode again. We're going to have the beat because we're coming into the sort of the outskirts of Edinburgh City. So the autonomous computer's still picking up the, you know, all the driving stuff, the information is still in the learning process at this point. That'll be for phase 3, I think. I do feel a bit safer knowing that it's a drivers there. If there wasn't like 2 members of staff here and there was just the bus itself driving, I don't think I'd be quite feeling as comfortable. I'd be a wee bit concerned. You know, I was not used to it. But I do feel reassured because there is staff here, and the driver, I can see the driver right there. With his hands just hovered over the wheel. But it's in driver mode now, but that's why I feel safe. I don't know how I would actually feel if there wasn't anybody else here. If I were the only one on here that was doing 50 down the motorway, it might be in a different mode. I'd probably like to try it, but well, it'd be interesting to try it. But I don't know how I would feel. I'd probably be scared. It's twofold as well. I was driving my car. If I was driving along the motorway and I saw an autonomous bus coming the other way, it'd be a little bit, you know, my heart would be starting to. If there wasn't any driver, I'd be a wee bit concerned. So I think we're at Park, Edinburgh Park. Edinburgh Park. I'm not really familiar with this place, but it's not really much. So as I say, it's just normal bus mode. It's just normal bus driver mode now, because we're kind of like just getting into the. It's more complicated for the computer, so it's still learning all this. That'll be the tram line, the bridge for the trams, and this ends up at the Ingliston parking right. So from here, well, from where it ends, you could get the bus right into, the tram right in, or a bus right to the centre of. You can see one of the Volvo 7900 regular buses going by, just on the opposite side there. And that's that isn't the Viral 300. That's the smaller. It's like the successor to the Dennis Dart, and then after that the Viral 200 MMC, which was a successor to the Viral 300. That's quite smart. I might get a closer look at that at some point. I never saw it. I guess it's transformers with the big motors on them, cooling fans on them. Yeah, big transformers there. That'd be for the power lines for the tram. So there's people coming on here, so I'll have to stop the video at this stage. At the Ingliston Park event, I've got a couple of questions. It's actually going away to start going if I've got time, so I'm going to have to get myself back on it. I'll get pictures of that because I'll be going on the other ones as well. Heading back to Ferryport, so it's in bus driving mode at the moment, and I'll go just the usual autonomous on the motorways.
There's a bridge and autonomous as well, but
Good sort of questionnaire to fill in as well. It's going to be just a bit of feedback on experiences of doing autonomous buses. I'm going to fill out and see what. On the sharp end, and this is all autonomous. This is the computer that's doing all this. It's 30 mph speed limit around here, and it's negotiating all this itself.
Suppose you log into that as well, did
So I've got it on there. It's pure picking up speed. It's got to look at these overhead gallantries as well, and just monitoring the speeds above there, just accordingly.
looks like you're going to take the slip road to Dunfermline.
Right.
And it's going to take that.
So it's in bus driver mode at the moment because we're going across the bridge. Not quite ready for the computer to do the driving over the bridge, just because I've been on a bridge, you know. So it's full bus driver mode at this point. So we're over the old Forth Road Bridge. This is the original Forth Road Bridge. That's the new one there, the Queen's Cross Ferry. This is the original one. That's why there's hardly any traffic. What's the other one? They might have a wee.
So That's RB1.
Get that one. Oh yeah, 66200. Slightly different colour on this one. It's 62002. The other, the rest of them are slightly darker purple, so it's something worth noting. So I'm going to nip into the toilet and I'm going to try out the other one, 62001. That's the one I came off with. Try this one next. I'm going to have a run on this one, have a wee shot on this one. So it's setting off from Ferryport back to Edinburgh Park and then back here again. So I'm going to sit at the back this time. This is the other bus. I'm going to go back through to Edinburgh Park. I think when I get to Edinburgh Park I may get off for a stretch and I might just get this one back again actually, it depends on what I feel. So as I say, like I said, it's still in phases, so it's bus drivers doing the driving until we get to across the Forth Road Bridge and onto the motorways, then you hear the beep, the computer takes over. The very light traffic situation happen, the computer gets to beep back again and the driver will take over. So this is just normal driving, bus driver mode at this stage. So it's just the same route as I've done it before. Just leaving Ferryport. Based in Falkirk, Alexander Dennis in Falkirk, and they use their standard Enviro 200 MMC model and autonomising 69 plate. Going over the lovely Forth Bridge. Rail bridge this side. Ferry tolls at North Queen's Ferry, that there is South Queen's Ferry, on the Edinburgh side. Stopped at a bus stop and it's just normal bus driver doing all the driving. This isn't quite been activated yet. Something it's very slow. Forth Road Bridge end. Still in bus driver mode. It's just normal bus driver. That's why it's been driven, so well and adequately around all the junctions and circles. The computer isn't quite up to this yet. It's still learning. That's for the next phase, phase 2. Phase 1 is the motorway. This is the computers doing that bit. So they're working it through, just educating the computer basically, the software. There was a software engineer on earlier got on this. I was going to ask about where the actuators and motors were, all the technical stuff for the mechanical parts, but it's more software programming. So I didn't really know, didn't have much time to, but I could find out just how, where the technical stuff is, where all the actuators, sensors are located. Just coming on the motorway, I think this is when the autonomous kicks in. I think it's about this stage, sure. Yeah, I just heard the beep there, so that's it now in the full computer driving, full autonomous mode. driver's still got their hands, just ready for taking over. It's just on standby, he's still there, but the computer's doing all this. The computer did that lane change as well. It felt a wee bit sharper than what a normal driver. It felt sort of more, you felt it changing lane, you know, a bit more pronounced. It's like digital, not as smooth as the way a driver would do it. You know, it's like a computer is like either on or off kind of thing. Well, that's all it is, digital, it's on or off, so it's kind of sharper. You know, you feel it moving, but it does the manoeuvre very swiftly. Whereas the bus driver would do it smoother, more gradual, just through years of it. No, just through skill. The computer doesn't understand that. The computer just works on logic gates, digital code. So I like that with the braking as well. The computer's harder on the brake, sharper on the brakes than what a bus driver does. Bus drivers are smoother because they can feel the brakes, whereas a computer doesn't have any feelings. It's just logic. So it's either like on or off kind of thing, you know. So it's still got to be programmed to learn how to do it smoothly. Or smoother anyway, much smoother than what it's doing. It's early stages. It's phase 1. It's Britain's only autonomous bus service. The whole of Britain, this is the only place that does it. Scotland, between Ferryport and Edinburgh. I'm not sure. I think the driver still activates wipers, maybe. I don't know. I'll have to maybe ask that. I'm going to find out in a minute. Or was that the computer operated the wipers? I'm going to find that. Oh, so that's autonomous braking heavy there. That's autonomous mode, but there's traffic ahead. I think we're still in autonomous. Yeah, we're still a bit of we didn't hear the beep, so I was just asking the staff member there that when the window wipers, the driver still controls them at this point. If the window wipers are on all the time, the driver's in full control. It's just that if it's raining or if there's a vehicle that's throwing up a lot of spray from the tyres, it could cover the sensors, cameras, and that could affect the computer. So when it's like that, if conditions are really bad, it's raining heavy and there's a lot of spray, it could cover sensors and cameras and the driver will take over. But the computer software's still learning that, so they're sort of still programming the computer to get used to because the spray and stuff like that, if it's snowing or if it's bad conditions, yeah, that's definitely still in autonomous. Autonomous is the braking was quite heavy there because we're in traffic, so you can feel it's on and off, it's on and off. You can feel the brakes coming on quite sharp and coming off because the computer's dealing with this traffic. So we're in a stop and start. On the other bus journey that I done, the driver took over and that was smooth. This one, the computer's learning, still in autonomous. It was learning the traffic, driving in traffic, the traffic jam, I should say. That's why it's going like that. But just checking, double checking. We're still in autonomous. So that other journey I done in the first one, the bus driver done the driving. But on this journey, in the queue of traffic, the computer's doing the driving. That's why it's doing that. The guy was saying that there's a broken down truck or lorry, there's a broken down vehicle up ahead, and there's lots of tailbacks, so it's a bit congested. But it gives the computer a chance to learn and then experience the computer driving in traffic. It's really bizarre, like it's quite a surreal feeling. It's really surreal. But I do feel reassured, very reassured, that there's a driver there and another driver, engineer, staff member here as well. I think this was a driver captain or something, or some wording or something like that they use. But I do feel reassured that there's 2 staff members there. Yeah, I feel it. It's sharp, right? But that's the experience of it. It's just nose to tail traffic. So you can sensor, the computer sensor will have a radar at the front that'll ping off the vehicles in front. And there's also, I think, they'll have to have sensors along the route as well, so for like speed variations in speed limits. Because the roads will have, I'm sure the roads will have infrastructure to support the autonomous vehicles as well. Well, yeah, we'll search into more. So the driver wouldn't drive it, so it's computer. You definitely know the computer, when the brakes come on there, it brings it to a stop. You know, it's on and then it's off. Sorry, off, and then it's on, then it stops. Whereas the driver, if it's the bus driver is driving it, it's smooth, knows the further the brakes, and then it's not smooth. But a computer, it's just like that, on and off, and it's doing that now. So, and there's a big queue of traffic because there's a broken down lorry up ahead. Just heard the loud beep. That means the driver now, it's the bus driver is driving it now. And it's, you notice a big improvement on the brakes, so you'll see it, like, it's so much smoother. See that? Smooth. Silky smooth. So, I think there was quite a few, you know, stop and start. It's getting a bit, you know, this would get a little bit uncomfortable after a while. It's now back into normal manual bus driver mode. It's the bus driver driving it now, so it's much smoother. Just see how smooth it. See, it's the computer doesn't know how to do this yet. See how smooth it is. See that? There's no jerking around, like, you know, a computer is on, off, on, off. It's really quite jerky when it's in stationary, you know, in slow moving traffic like this. But you can tell there's a big difference. See, he's not actually having to stop because the driver knows to keep it rolling. You know, just keep the thing rolling at a slow speed, whereas the computer would be stopping and starting and all the time. See, there's a big difference. The computer, the information coming in is monitoring the inputs going in, matching what's the roads environments going on, you know, weather environment, all that, light, traffic environment, probably the condition of the vehicle as well, and there's all sorts of variables in driving. So it's just normal bus driver mode now. Into computer mode again, it's moving into bus line. You hear the beeping and it's now computer doing all the driving now. So it's got this bend to negotiate, it's got a slight uphill gradient to get the throttle, the accelerator just right for the gradient in the corner as well. It's not a throttle on a diesel engine, it's not like a petrol, it's diesel controls the fuel going in to adjust engine speed, whereas a petrol actually controls a lot of air by throttling it. A diesel engine, the accelerators controls a lot of fuel that goes into the injectors into an engine. Well, all that, but it's the same, all the mechanicals of the bus is the same as the standard Viro 200 MMC. It's just the actuators that control them. Software it, because it's an electronic module that controls the throttle, not the throttle, the accelerator anyway. That's what controls and meters the amount of diesel going in anyway. So the computer's only just controlling that aspect of it, and from there on it's just a normal standard diesel engine bit. And steering and all that's the same mechanically, suspension, the brakes all the same. It's just the actuators are controlled by computer. So there's actuators fitted somewhere along all these systems that control it. So I think these are chargeless contactless. I'm not sure, is that Wi-Fi? That's just some stuff that's added on to the backs of the seats. I didn't really get into detail on that earlier. Seat belts are there as well. We're still in, as I say, we're in computer mode, computer driving. So like here, you wouldn't really know that it was a computer driving because it's just relatively a straight drive with no vehicles. It's in the bus lane, so it's got a clear run at it. Bus is braking. That's the beep. That's indicating now that it's the manual. No, it's back in bus driver mode. Or bus driver's driving it, however you describe it. It's the driver is driving it now. So. I was hoping to get it, I didn't get the camera on time. I was hoping to show you well, you saw it all before. It was just braking, the computer was just slowing down braking, then it just, you had the beep, and then that's switching back over. There's one of the other autonomous buses. That'll be in driver mode as well. That won't be the computer because it's the roundabouts with lots of traffic, and it's still in the process of development. So that bus I went up there was in normal driver mode, bus driver driving it. Oh, just leaving the circle. Just regular driver now. So phase 2 is that's what they need, is what they're developing to get the computer to learn all this. Well, it's learning, but it's not quite developed yet. But this is just on the Ingliston Park and Ride coming up shortly. In fact, I will actually get off because I want to have a look at these transformers, and I'll get the later bus. I'll show you them. Yeah, I'll actually get off at the Ingliston Park and Ride, and I'll probably just round the video off there because that's like 3 journeys I've done. The 4th journey going back to my car at Ferryport, I don't really need to record that unless anything specific happens. So yeah, I'm going to just pretty much, I'll round the video up and get to Ingliston. As I say, I'll go back to Ferryport, I'll have a wee bit of time at Ingliston. I'll show you the transformers that I saw there, look quite smart. I'll just piggyback that onto this video. Although this video is about autonomous buses, I'll just piggyback the transformer bit as well onto this video, because I'll have a look at that later as well. And you might be interested also to do with the trams and that, so I thought it was quite smart. And then I'll knock the video off. That's going to be make its way back to Ferryport. So it just sounds like a regular Enviro 200 MMC with the voice transmission, the Cummins 4.5 litre diesel 4-cylinder. And this is Ingliston Park and Ride. I just want to make a revision to that. It's not Ingliston, and that is Edinburgh Park. I got that mixed up, sorry. Not the Ingliston Park and Ride, it's Edinburgh Park, the rail station. I got that mixed up, so don't quote me on that one. But the Ingliston, it's not the Ingliston, it's Edinburgh Park. I made reference to Ingliston earlier on. It's not. It's Edinburgh Park. So Edinburgh Park to Ferryport. The transformers are what I show you are just in front of me. I'll show you them now. The trams run by this way. That's what I was getting mixed up. The actual trams run by Edinburgh Park, so you could catch a tram, intercept a tram here, as you'll hear and see.
Please stand clear of the platform edge and fast train approaches.
And you could actually get to the Ingliston Park and Ride via the tram. The trams run between Ingliston Park and Ride in the city centre of Edinburgh. There's another tram just going up there. And a Volvo B8 bus. Volvo B7 RLE, single deck. Try to catch that for you. A closer look at that. As I said, just piggybacking this onto this video because I'm going to have a look at that later. It's just easier just to stick it in this video as well. It's quite interesting having a look at that, so you might too as well. I've done a video on my YouTube channel regarding electrical substations and transformers. I've done an article video on it on my channel. There's a short version of an Enviro 300. It's the predecessor to the Enviro 200 MMC. That's just a regular diesel, by the way, 14 plate. So it must be like a shuttle bus or some sort. It's just, I'm not sure what services it does. So I'm assuming all this will be in relation to the electrified rail lines and tram lines, perhaps. So yeah, it's quite an interesting sight that is for me anyway. So I'll be making my way up here shortly up to Edinburgh Park to get the tram back. But I've done a video regarding power stations, as I said earlier, on the channel. If you're interested, it's one of my article videos. It's called "Electrical Substations and Transformers." I've just covered footage of the ones at Tailend and Alyth. There's also a big transformer move as well. It was being transported from Dundee Docks towards Alyth. I've got footage of that on my channel also, so you might be interested to see that. So, you can see the rails just taking off. So what I'll do is I'll go and get myself somewhere and I'll round off the video. I'll probably round it off up there where it's a bit quiet about this wind. So I might as well just round the video off as and move my way up there. See, I've off the beaten track a bit. As I said, there's going to be a bit breezy. I'll probably go in the shower because you just get the wind through the microphone. But no, it was quite a weird experience, although it was still reassuring as well, because there was staff on the bus. So there's a nice view of a Volvo B8 with the Egyptian Volvo B8 RLE, new to Lothian buses. It's an Eva or something. Eva, it's an Egyptian body on it. that's the bodywork. I did do a video on that as well earlier on my channel, a bit of Edinburgh bus spotting, and it was quite smart. There's loads of them. I went to Musselburgh, one of them. Right, I'll go and get myself a good spot, then I'll go and do stuff. It doesn't actually say on here, but this is where you get the autonomous bus back to Ferryport Park and ride. That's the stop we got off and on it. It doesn't have it on the timetable there, but it's this one anyway. Just hoping it's not too windy. But yeah, just to summarise what was first time I've ever been on an autonomous bus. It's a mild story of my life. I've never been in an autonomous road vehicle. That may be a bit better. Yeah, so I did the survey thing as well. There's some questions I didn't answer, like, you know, some were not applicable, like, but others I couldn't really say because, you know, somebody's right coming. I'll go up here and then I'll see the bus coming. But yeah, it was a mixed sort of feelings, mixed views on it. To be honest, in old school, I prefer traditional ways. Just have that bias to me. I like having my job. I'd rather be the driver in control, and I'd rather have a driver in control all the time. So, forget it. I'll just go out there. What was I saying? Yeah, I would rather be the driver. You're just going to have to hear, because I'm not going to get a piece anywhere. It doesn't matter where I stand, it's just going to be. There's no such thing as a quiet corner these days. You could stand on the bloody moon and you'd still get somebody getting in the way. Sorry, what was I saying? Yeah, no, I'd rather be the driver. It felt reassuring that there was a driver in the cab and there was a member of staff there as well. It's just my personal view, because I've grown up that way. I'm not familiar with seeing. I wouldn't be familiar with seeing it. Part of the survey was, would you go on it if there wasn't any staff on board? Probably not, but one half me would, but the other half would be because I'm excited. I'd like to try it as the novelty, you know what I mean? But would I like it for real view? Would I like it for a real view, a real life? You know? I feel quite odd, because I'm just used to seeing drivers. I drive buses and cars, and if I was to pass a vehicle that didn't have a driver in it, I don't think it feels so comfortable, because you pass these vehicles with sometimes it's just a foot or so between them, and I don't like the computers. I wouldn't feel safe. So I certainly put on the survey, I'd rather that there was a driver there. One of the questions was, would you prefer having a captain, as they call it, to do customer service and not a driver to take over, or would you rather have a driver and not have a captain? Well, I'd rather have a driver. I'd rather have safety first. That would have to be the long one, wouldn't it? God almighty. Stop stalking now, does it? It had to be a... But yeah, I would rather have a driver at the helm, because that's just how I grew up. But somebody that's born in this sort of generation, you wouldn't really... It wouldn't be any different to them, because they would have grown up with that. That would be their normal. That would be the normal for them. So it goes on your sort of what you're used to. I mean, you go on a plane, right? That's done by autopilot, which is autonomous in a way, but you know the captain's there. So you go on a lift. There's a prime example. You go on a lift, you put your faith in the lift. There's no driver there. hear that echoing. Yeah, as you say, you put your faith in a lift. So it's what you're used to. I mean, if you go back, I don't know, before lifts were invented, right? How many people would have went in this box that closes before they had, because when they had lifts, they had somebody there, didn't they? I think it was manual and that, didn't they? Well, everything, there was somebody that pressed the button, I can't remember what you call it, concierge or something. But we put our faith in these things, and it's like the next step now. It's road vehicles, you know what I mean? It's quite a big leap, right? Because it's just the way. I mean, computers weren't around, but when I was growing up at the school, it's just the BBC computers in the 80s. But now, to think of it, it's just like what was science fiction back then coming to light now, But no, I feel a bit odd. I don't think I would. In fact, I'd rather there was a driver there. In fact, I'd rather there was just a driver, period, because I like driving myself personally, and I think it's a good skill to have. And you know all the ins and outs of driving. A computer can't, it just learns some logic. It doesn't have any feelings, a computer. A computer's a robot, it just works on one's binary. And, damn. And see, I can't really go forward, but I wouldn't go with the bus coming. But yeah, a computer doesn't have the same feelings as a human does, so it won't get fear. It'll go over the cliff. I wouldn't have any fears about it. I would go head on to another. It doesn't feel, as a driver does. A driver has got that instinct, that initial instinct that I'd rather have a human being behind the wheel, personally. So that's my view. It's quite smart. I mean, in here to try it out. I like learning things. I like to adventure. I like to try out things and learn about them. But that's what I do. I just like to learn about them. I like to experience them. But I'm not really. I've got my own feelings and views on it. But I like to also, although it's something different, could be controversial for someone. Get the jobs. I wouldn't like to see. I certainly wouldn't support anything that would. I wouldn't like to see jobs going because of that, obviously. And a bus driver, so I'd like to keep my job. And a computer, although there's still staff on it, it's quite ironic, really. You got a computer, right? You got a normal bus as a driver, but an autonomous bus, you got two staff members. But you know what I mean. So it's obviously the agenda. There's probably technologies, in fact, that's been written. This could be planned out years, decades ago, and it's just unfolding. But again, that goes on a different sort of subject. Things are planned out, and I mean, it's just rolled out at the right times, I reckon. But that's my view on it. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you could look on it. I mean, it's sort of like things go hand in hand. So it's rolled out at convenient times. I always say, how much are we really in control? So convenient things happen, but that's a different subject. But yeah, there's political view on it as well, certainly for job security. But the safety thing would be a big issue. Like I said earlier, computers don't have the feelings of a human, so it can't. I wouldn't flinch. I just driving head on into an oncoming truck or off a cliff. I wouldn't have any second thoughts. I didn't have any thoughts. Whereas a human, you know that there's somebody there. So I'd rather have the reassurance of a driver. The other, say that on the question, one of the questions was, would you rather have a driver or would you rather have one staff member? Would you rather them be behind the helm, or would you rather them be giving customer service? Well, I'd rather have them behind the helm. Customer service, safety comes first. So I'd rather. I mean, who in the right? Well, it's up to them. Would they rather? So they were asking, would you rather have a staff member serving tickets and being there as a customer service, or would you rather have a driver there just in case to take over? That was one of them, but I'd rather have the driver there. It's safety, it's common sense. I mean, who gives a what I mean? Who cares about? No, I'd rather have a driver. Thank you very much. But in this instance, there's two very friendly staff. Yeah, it's I get to say thank them very much for the staff that were on board the buses that I tried. Yeah, thank yous for allowing me to film and answer my questions and that, and good assistance. So thank them for that as well. So I'm going to have to round that video off. It's going to be too long. So the last bus from Edinburgh Park, not Ingliston. I made that mistake. I don't know why I thought Ingliston. I think Ingliston Park and Ride. It's not Ingliston Park and Ride. It's Edinburgh Park, and you could catch a tram into the centre of Edinburgh, or you could go the other way to Edinburgh Park and Ride as well from here at Edinburgh Park, and you could go to Inverkeithing and all this at the National Railway. So the last autonomous bus AB1 service from here back to Ferryport was at 6:30. Shit. I thought, no, it's got to go around that circle first. 6:30. It's only 5:30, but it's running. The times are all running at the pot because of the traffic. There was a broke down lorry on the motorways, and there was big delays and everything. So the timetables are all over the place. But as long as I get one back to Ferryport, because that's when part Ferryport Park and Ride, which is next to Inverkeithing, north side of the Forth Road bridges. Remember, there's three Forth bridges. The old railway bridge, you've got the original Forth Road bridge, and you've got Queen's Ferry. This is for anybody that's watching it that's not familiar with Scotland, because bear in mind this can be seen anywhere around the globe. So just sort of like had to mention that. It'd be obvious to anybody that's from here, like, you know, be saying why even bother mentioning that. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I found it quite an interesting experience. Like I say, I stay neutral in that. I don't get into the politics, the political side. I'd like to see jobs secured, obviously. I wouldn't want to see jobs going. So safety is number one. On that other bus, the second one I went on, there was a guy with his laptop software. It's all software now, yeah. But I was going to ask him some of the mechanical questions, like where the actuators are that actuate the steering, operate the brakes, operate the drive-by-wire, as it's called. That's just like throttleless. Wireless accelerator. Like on the carburetor cars, it was a cable that actually operated the flat-mode butterfly valve on the carburetor to control the air going into the engine, which controls your engine RPMs on a petrol engine. On a diesel engine, it's the old ones. It used to be a cable that would operate a meter valve that would control the amount of fuel going into the high-pressure injector pump that controls meters amount of fuel, regulates the amount of fuel going into the combustion chamber on a diesel engine. But now the diesel engines, a lot of them are done by wire, so you just press the accelerator pedal, it's operating a wire, it goes into the module. The module then controls, using the map system, just the ratio or the load on the engine and transmission, it's engine management, and that's what controls and regulates the engine speed for the diesel. Well, the autonomous bit, all that's the same, but it's just the accelerator that controls that bit of the module. The inputs from the driver is done by the computer. It uses sensors all around the bus. You know, there's lots of stuff. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to have to round the video off. See what else I put up on my channel, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye for now. Seems like there's a whole busload of bus spotters that just came on as well. I recognise a lot of them from Northampton, so I think we got so lucky because I had the buses earlier with myself, but the bus that will be on it with. It's packed with bus spotters. Full busload of bus spotters all over. So I'm not the only one that's bus spotter today. Just want the video off here. So thanks very much for watching. Just